The camera is positioned subtly behind a sheer curtain in a living room, focusing on Mr. Albright's ordinary suburban house across the street. Shadows lengthen in the late afternoon, creating a deceptive peace. Mr. Albright, known for his tedious, predictable routine, watering the lawn at 7 o'clock a.m., getting his paper at 8 o'clock a.m., has been absent for 4 days straight. His car hasn't moved an inch, and the mailbox is now overflowing onto the sidewalk. This morning, a cold wave of dread hit me when I found a small, unmarked brown package on my porch. No return address, just a single, unsettling photograph inside. It's a blurry, distant shot of Mr. Albright's living room window, taken at a strange angle in pitch-black darkness. Through the glass, a tall, impossibly thin silhouette stands, its form stretched and wavering. ... Its vertical length is unsettling, almost touching the ceiling, giving it an appearance that is simultaneously broken and deliberately posed. It certainly doesn't resemble the elderly Mr. Albright. The chilling reality is that this disturbing photo was delivered directly to me as a calculated warning, or, worse, a morbid gift. This thing is aware of me. It is now day 6 since Mr. Albright disappeared. The unsettling photo remains face up on my kitchen counter, demanding attention and intensifying my anxiety. I finally decide to approach his property, feeling a suffocating mix of paralyzing fear and desperate curiosity about the unseen horror. The closer I get to the front porch, the more pervasive a sickeningly sweet odor becomes. It's cloying, like heavily spoiled meat mixed with an overwhelming, cheap, floral disinfectant, almost designed to mask the decomposition. It grows. The door, which has been slightly ajar, now has a thick, dark, viscous smear running down the center of the white frame, starting near the top and trailing downwards, suggesting something wet, heavy, and extremely foul was recently dragged inside. I hold my breath, gagging slightly, and raise my phone camera, leaning in close to the small door gap. I see only the deep, impenetrable blackness inside, but the terrifying silence is broken by a low, wet, almost mechanical wheezing sound coming from far within the house's interior. The intensifying wheezing forces a sudden, frantic retreat to the side of the house. The sound is loudest and most disturbing near the small, below-ground basement window. I drop quickly to my knees and crouch low. The window is almost completely obscured by years of caked grime and heavy condensation. But I use my sleeve to wipe a small. The sight inside is indistinct. Absolute darkness, broken only by a faint, persistent, pulsing red light that seems to rhythmically expand and contract. As I focus, the rhythmic scratching sound I heard yesterday, a sound like dull claws on concrete, stops instantly. The wet wheezing grows significantly louder, faster, and seems to be moving directly toward the glass, generating hot condensation. It sounds like something enormous, shifting its internal weight inches from my face. A single, large, unnervingly still black fly lands precisely on the clean spot of glass, staring. The wheezing is now directly behind the glass, focused on my eye. My panic escalates to a fever pitch. I grab a loose, heavy brick from the side path, my hands slick with nervous sweat. The horrifying photo I received flashes in my mind. The glass shatters violently inwards with a sickening crunch. An immediate, powerful rush of the foul, sweet odor bursts out of the broken window, causing me to physically gag and stumble back onto the lawn. The wheezing sound has vanished completely, replaced by an unnatural, echoing silence that seems to press in from all sides. I drop the brick, my hands shaking uncontrollably. My phone, still recording audio, captures only my heavy, ragged breathing and the terrible sound of liquid dripping from inside the broken window. I sprint back to my kitchen window, heart hammering against my ribs. Mr. Albright's old blue sedan is still parked in the driveway, motionless. The shattered rear window is horrifying, but I notice a new calculated detail. The license plate is gone. It has been neatly unscrewed from the back of the car, leaving behind. The surgical precision of this act is deeply chilling. This suggests calculated intelligence and a deliberate attempt to erase any human trail. As my eyes scan back towards my own house, my breath catches in my throat. There are now fresh footprints on my concrete porch. They are long, thin, and definitely not human. Worse, they are wet, despite the completely dry night. The prints lead from the street, across my lawn, and stop directly at my front door. The thing has crossed the boundary. I silently back away from the window, grabbing my phone and setting it to record video, aiming it at my closed, locked front door. The wet footprints stopped. A low, guttural scratching sound begins. It's not the soft sound of wood. Then, an impossibly long, dark, and sinuous shadow falls across the bottom crack of the door, stretching under the gap. The shadow twitches and writhes slightly, indicating something shifting its weight or articulating strange, unnatural joints. This thing is massive, intelligent, and it is actively trying to breach the last physical barrier between us. The sound of metal scraping is deafening in the silence of my house. The metallic scratching stops abruptly, replaced by a dense, agonizing silence. My heart hammers against my ribs, waiting for the next sound. Then, a single, soft, deliberate knock lands politely on the wood right next to the peephole. It's measured, polite. The door rattles violently in its frame from the sheer impact. The creature is actively using human behavior to break my sanity, combining polite terror with brute, disgusting, crushing force. I grab a large kitchen knife, the cold steel doing nothing to calm my shaking hands. Driven by an overriding, terrifying curiosity, I cautiously approach the door, knife held out awkwardly. I slowly lean in and put my eye to the peephole. The view is completely and violently blocked by a featureless, off-white papery texture. It is right up against the lens, distorting the image and making it impossible to focus on anything beyond. The white substance is moist, slightly translucent, and seems to pulsate faintly, almost like a thin membrane of stretched, pale skin. I pull back instantly, gasping for air as the sickly sweet, antiseptic odor hits me again, now seemingly leaking through the peephole. The creature is so close. It knew exactly where my eye would be. The realization sends a fresh wave of panic through me. I back away from the door, my legs stumbling backwards toward the safety of the kitchen island. My phone remains recording near the door. The low, distorted, high-pitched whisper of my name starts again through the wood, chilling me to the bone. This time, it's followed by a horrifying, rasping, wet cough that quickly morphs into a choked, phlegmy laugh. It is clearly Mr. Albright's familiar, high-pitched chuckle, but slowed down, corrupted, and heavy with mucus. The sound is utterly repulsive and deeply personal. The thing outside is using his stolen identity to inflict maximum psychological torture. I hear the distinctive, wet clicking noise, like dry teeth knocking, immediately before the laugh repeats, mocking my fear. The horrific, wet laughter stops abruptly. A slow, agonizing, drawn-out creak echoes through the quiet house. The brass doorknob, which is triple-locked, begins to turn slowly, smoothly, inward against the full resistance of the deadbolt. The internal lock mechanisms whine loudly and violently as they are deliberately and forcefully twisted past their physical breaking point by unimaginable strength. The turning eventually stops. The door remains technically locked, but the mechanism is visibly and physically destroyed, the lock plate warped. The thing knows it cannot open the door, but it has tested and violated the final barrier, letting me know my security is useless and that it can break anything it chooses. I sprint to the far end of the living room, near the large picture window facing the street. I quickly peek through a small gap in the curtain. The creature is no longer at the door, having apparently decided to leave. I see it now, standing perfectly still in the middle of the street, fully exposed under the nearest flickering streetlight. It is disturbingly tall, thin, and completely nude, its skin the unsettling color of old, wet parchment paper. Its head is huge, bulbous, and seems to droop slightly, like a full sack. As the streetlight momentarily flickers off and then back on, I see its eyes, two small, perfectly black, wet holes reflecting the light. Crucially, it is staring intensely at the empty house next to mine, not me. It is looking for its next location. The creature is focused on the empty house next door. I realize this is my one and only window of opportunity. I quietly grab my car keys and my phone, which is still recording the silent house. My escape must be through the back door. I hear the creature resume its mechanical scratching, but this time it's coming from the lawn outside, near my neighbor's house. It is no longer hunting me, but engaged in an act of installation or construction. I dash silently through the hallway, heart pounding, adrenaline fueling every movement, and quickly unlock the back door's deadbolt. I twist the handle and slip out into the pitch blackness of my backyard. I need to get to the car without making a sound. I sprint across the backyard to the car parked in the driveway. I throw myself into the driver's seat and frantically start the engine. The roar of the car breaks the silence of the night. As I peel out, I glance at Mr. Albright's old sedan. The car is still there, but now the rear window is completely shattered from the inside, and a long, pale, segmented limb, wet, slimy, and disturbingly long, is visible, reaching out from the dark interior, then slowly, deliberately retracting back into the car's shadows. The creature was not at the house earlier. It was gestating inside his vehicle. The sound of broken glass echoes under the car's engine noise. I floor the gas pedal and accelerate away from the driveway, terrified of what the limb could reach. Driving away at maximum legal speed, I force myself to look in the rearview mirror one last time at the fading scene. The creature is not pursuing me. It is standing next to Mr. Albright's abandoned car, fully exposed in the streetlight. It pauses, then calmly walks over to my now empty house, retrieves the brick I dropped earlier, and neatly closes my front door, as if tidying up after an intrusion. It then walks across the lawn and enters Mr. Albright's house, closing the ajar door behind it. The garage door simultaneously rolls down silently, sealing the house completely. The creature has officially moved in, assuming control of the property and establishing its new routine. The neighborhood just got a new, non-human resident. The screen goes black, but the phone's audio recording continues. The initial sounds are static and my heavy, panicked breathing. Then the loud sound of the car engine and the wind whipping past the windows at high speed dominate the audio. Then, very faintly, over the engine noise, a new, distinct, and terrifying sound begins. The rhythmic, wet, mechanical wheezing, coming from the back seat, much closer than before. I realize I never checked the recording device I was carrying. It must have picked up something that entered the car with me without my knowledge. The recording spikes violently with a terrible, wet, choking sound, followed by a final, high-pitched screech, and then cuts off abruptly, leaving only the chilling static of silence. If you have ever noticed something fundamentally wrong about a person, a sound, or a house that just doesn't fit the mundane, predictable world, a noise that's too quiet, a pattern that is too precise, or a look that is too empty, I urge you, do not ignore it. The world is full of things that wear stolen human skins and wait patiently for the right moment to move into our lives. They are calculating, intelligent, and they follow strict, chilling routines. Share this video with everyone you know to warn them. Tell me in the comments below, what is the most unsettling, out-of-place thing your neighbor has ever done? Stay safe, lock your doors, and always, Always check your rearview mirrors and your back seats.